I think we can all agree that Wuthering Waves devs are really good. When it comes to the community feedback, responsiveness, innovation, and creativity, they're easily up there with some of the best developers in the gacha space. But after watching their most recent dev talk, it honestly gave me a whole new level of respect for them. You start to realize it's not just about flashy updates or new characters, it's about the process behind it all. The amount of thought, research, and dedication that goes into every aspect of the game is wild. They kind of give us a sneak peek behind the scenes. On the surface level, Qiuyuan is a really cool character, but knowing they actually researched how blind people would fight, studying movement patterns, perception, and awareness to make his combat feel both authentic and respectful is really nuts. Then you have the sun and moon animations for Iuno and Augusta, which went through 3 different draft phases. They easily could have settled for the first one, but they didn't, because to them, good enough isn't just good enough. And that's what really stands out. From accessibility to visual storytelling, every detail shows that Curl Games isn't just chasing trends, they're setting a standard. This dev talk wasn't just a behind the scenes update, it was a reminder of why Wuthering Waves feels different. And today, I want to break down exactly why this video proves Curl Games is one of the best devs in the entire gacha space. But before we get into the meat of the video, if you're new here and have been enjoying the content recently, make sure to subscribe and turn the notification bell on so you don't miss out on any future videos. My community Discord server is pinned in the comment section down below. But before we get into this, here's a word from today's sponsor. Listen, if you're like me, a frequent top-up spender, and you're not using LD Shop, let me put you on real quick. LD Shop is a formal top-up platform that guarantees you safety and reliability for all your in-game purchases. LD Shop offers some really competitive prices on Wuthering Waves Lunite and other in-game items like Lunite subscription or Battle Pass. You can easily save up to 25% off compared to purchasing in-game. This means saving a bit more money when it comes to whaling for Galbrina soon. Now, let's talk about the top-up process. After purchasing your desired item, you will need to provide LD Shop with your login information as well as your server and in-game UID. After you see this screen where your order has been completed, you are now free and able to log back in. Once you are now back in your account, your Lunite will be awaiting you just like mine was. It is crucial that you do not log into the game yourself during this process. Once completed, they will log out and they will clear all login records. For maximum account security, they even recommend changing your password after completion. This ensures a smooth and secure transaction every time, and it is 100% safe, and at the time of recording there has not been any records of accounts being banned. And because I love you Freaky Frog so much, if you register using my personal link down below, you receive a one-time 50% off your next purchase coupon. Yep, you heard that right. This coupon will save you 15% off on your next purchase with LD Shop. So if you're looking for a secure, affordable, and efficient way to top up your Wuthering Waves account, look no further as LD Shop has your back. Use my link in the description and enjoy these Curl Bob bucks when whaling on Galbrina or any other resonator of your desire. Thanks again LD Shop for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into it. Let's start with one of the most impressive things that came out of this dev talk, the research that went behind Qiuyuan. Now, it's one thing to design a character who's blind and make them look cool. Most studios would just stop there. But Curl went above and beyond when it came to creating Qiuyuan's gameplay. Here's what baffled me when they said this. They actually took the time to research how blind people would fight, how they perceive space, how they move, how they respond to the rhythm and flow of a fight. They studied real techniques, drew inspiration from adaptive martial arts, and used that same knowledge to make Qiuyuan's combat feel grounded in reality. I'm not gonna lie, that one was a curveball for me. That's an insane amount of attention to detail, because think about it, this isn't just visual design, it's mechanical empathy. It's Curl asking, how would someone who fights without sight actually read the battlefield? And then using that question to shape his animations, sound design, and even his ability timing. Most developers would just add lore justification, something like he can sense energy, and move on, but Curl kind of went deeper. They wanted Qiuyuan to feel authentic, not just in theory, but in how he plays. And that's a massive deal, because this kind of design goes beyond creativity, it shows respect. This is empathy-driven design. You almost never see it in this genre, especially not in gacha games. It's thoughtful, it's intentional, and when you look at Qiuyuan, you're not just seeing another cool-looking character, you're seeing the result of a studio that actually cares enough to do their homework. I highly respect that. Then they started talking about the sun and moon concept behind Iuno and Augusta, and this part honestly blew my mind. Apparently there weren't just 1 or 2, but there was 3 full drafts of their sun and moon animations. 3 entire versions. And my first thought was the same as probably anyone else's. Wait, isn't that kind of overkill? Like, most studios would have taken that first version that looked decent and called it a day. Because in most development cycles, time equals money, and redoing something that already works is usually seen as a waste. But that's clearly not how Curl thinks. To them, it's not about being efficient, it's about being intentional, about creating something that doesn't just meet expectations, but feels right. And that tells you everything about their mindset. They're not just chasing good enough, they're chasing something great that's worthy of the consumer's time and money. It's the difference between a studio that wants to meet deadlines and a studio that wants to make something timeless. one that's willing to take harder, longer route, not because they have to, but because they care. And when you realize that level of effort went into something as specific as lighting transitions and a celestial animation flow, it makes you appreciate how deeply they think about the experience they're creating, not just what you see, but what you feel. Next up is Augusta's Redesign story. It's such a perfect example of how Curl actually listens and adapts. The devs mentioned that earlier versions of Augusta included air combos and animations using her feet and whatnot, which sounds cool on paper, but to them, it made her gameplay too similar to Zani. So instead of forcing it through, they scrapped it, grounded her movement, and added something completely new, which was the time stop mechanic. They threw away a whole combat system because it didn't feel right for players or for her character identity. And honestly, it paid off. Augusta feels fresh, unique, and balanced. They easily could have dropped that version, and I'm sure it would have gotten some flack, but at the end of the day, we all would have eaten it up. But the devs have a vision, and if it derives from that, they'll for sure adjust it to make it worth the community's time and money. That's what happens when the devs prioritize the player experience over just flashy features. What's really cool is how this effort doesn't just stop at one character, it builds the foundation of the future content. When Curl goes this deep into something like Qiuyuan's fighting style or Augusta's mechanics, they're building tools and systems that they can reuse and expand on for future resonators or in-game mechanics. And that's how you get consistency and innovation at the same time. They're basically future-proofing the game's design. Like, think about the slowdown time effect Augusta uses. Imagine how that could be repurposed for a collab resonator like David from Cyberpunk Edgerunners. His Sandevistan would fit perfectly using that same tech. It's smart design and really creative. We're also seeing how past characters' experiments are shaping the current ones. Remember Carlotta's ult? That massive burst that actually affects her surroundings? Or Zani's sword and shield switching animations, or her hair glowing effects, or even Chacona's QTE system? All of these unique features, some big, some small, laid the foundation for what came next. You can see Carlotta's ult effect being carried into Galbrina's kit, Zani's sword switching animation that's evolved into Augusta's transitions, and Chacona's QTE idea, while not as successful, still taught the devs what players liked and didn't like. That's innovation through iteration. They experiment, they test, they learn, and they build on it. And when something works, they expand on it across the roster. It's a level of evolution design we don't see enough in gacha games. And it's not just the characters getting love, it's the enemies too. The devs revealed that they actually had a dedicated monster design team, and man, that honestly explains so much. Because if you've been playing the game since the earlier patches, say the 1.x versions, you can see the evolution. The boss fights used to be pretty straightforward, but now they're more cinematic, dynamic, and full of unique phases. Take the False Sovereign for example, easily one of my favorite fights in the game. He doesn't just transform, he changes his entire moveset, 2 phases and 2 completely different sets of attacks to learn. It's a perfect example of how Curl keeps raising the bar. They're not just making enemies harder, they're making them smarter, more expressive, more alive. After watching that dev talk, one thing becomes crystal clear for me. Curl's not just making a product, they're crafting an experience, something that they're willing to waste resources on to make sure they're delivering a pristine product. From the way they handled accessibility and representation, to the way they iterate on animation quality, to how they build systems that evolve with each update, every decision shows care and passion. They're learning, refining, and constantly trying to top themselves. Not for marketing, not for hype, but because they genuinely want to make the best game they can. So yeah, after seeing everything they talked about, it's hard not to call them what they are. One of the best devs in the gacha space right now. They're innovating, they're improving, and most importantly, they're listening. It's not about getting everything right on the first try, it's about caring enough to keep trying until they do. And that's exactly what separates Curl from everyone else. This glaze was much deserved, and I look forward to what's in store for us in the future. So let me know what you thought about the dev talk. Was it insightful? Did it give you more respect for the devs? Let me know down below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe and turn the notification bell on so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you enjoyed this video, I'm more than confident you'll enjoy either one of these videos on screen. That's all I got today for you all. Take care and peace.